The Doctor and his new companions, Ben and Polly, land in the South Pole in the year 1986, where he is taken into a base and mistaken for a threat by the hardened General Cutler in charge of operations there. However, things go wrong quickly, as some mysterious figures are murdering crew, and an entire planet that looks like Earth appears without warning, messing with the gravity and energy levels. How can the world keep its energy? What are these creatures with human hands? And doesn't the Doctor look awfully tired? Let's find the answers in The 10th Planet. Written by Kid Pedler and Jerry Davis, and was first broadcast on the 8th to the 29th of October 1966.
I am Nick.
And I'm Batman.
Oh, okay. We are the Eyes of Harmony, and we're going to discuss the 10th Planet. And damn, this story is so much to live up for fans. I mean, you know, it's the first appearance of the Cybermen and the first regeneration. Like, hot damn.
Double hitter there.
Yeah. So one thing I do want to just say quickly is I really love the DVD cover for this one. I think it's probably one of the best William Hartnell ones, I'd say. Just because, I mean, it captures the story perfectly. It's got the 2 planets. It's got William Hartnell, obviously, as this is his final story.
Yeah, no,
and it's got the Cybermen in it, and it just looks nice. And you know,
It does.
it's got nice white snow. I like snow, so I mean, yeah, I was always going to enjoy the story anyway. So the first thing which strikes you is like the sets are good. You know, like straight away the snow sets.
The snow's amazing.
Incredibly good.
Well, partially because you can hide the back. It's probably just the
Backdrop,
CGI,
yeah.
It looks really convincing.
It does. It really looks good, and the snow machines are good as well. I mean, you can see just at the edge that the snow machine's just at the edge because you can see where it's all coming out from. But I don't even care. Yeah. It looks great.
It does.
So it's like good acting, and it first shows us the base and the rocket.
It's definitely a very distinct location as well. Like,
yeah, never gone anywhere like that before.
Not before, no.
So it was very unique.
You go to snowy areas later, not.
This is the first time that they kind of really did snow. The next time was either kind of the abominable snowman, but mainly.
No, that was more.
Himalayas. Okay, it was just more cold. But actually no, a lie. There was Marco Polo at the beginning. There at the snow.
True that.
But this does it great because we can't see Marco Polo, sadly, but. Yeah. You can see that little bit at the end of Edge of Destruction when they see the footprint.
That is true.
That's the most we see. But they do the snow brilliantly here. So, brilliant kind of slow build up, showing the characters. But it kind of gets into it very quickly. It's like the Doctor will appear, they go outside.
Oh my goodness, there's the Doctor.
No, I love it. It's like, hey, a woman, and the Italian's like, oh, woman! I love that. That's my favourite line.
Just as he has like his pictures of women on the wall, he's like reading some porn magazine or something.
It gave him character. I loved it.
You don't see it really good.
Well, he dies straight away. Yeah. He's one of the people who dies outside. Yeah. But like, I kind of wanted him in it more. I liked him. I liked him a lot. So that it was good.
It was just him like, trying to flirt with Polly and Ben just going.
Yeah. See, I love it though because when a character makes you laugh on screen, you automatically care about that character. Yeah. If someone makes you laugh, you care about them. It's just a trait which happens. You care about them if it's just what's happened. So I actually cared about that character, and because I wasn't sure it was him who got taken out because it was all covered up.
Yeah. Sure.
But then I was like, oh, he died. I was sad. I was actually sad. I was gutted that he wasn't in it more. So I mean, for what he had, he did well. I mean, he was fun and enjoyable. So anyway, they're in the base. They're like, how'd you get here? General usual questions which would be asked.
And then the general appears.
Yeah,
Cutler is really strong.
And you can understand him as well.
Oh, consistently, with his son and all that.
It makes sense. I'd be very much like, I don't want my son dying, blah blah blah. I'd not let you do this, But yeah, so then stuff starts going wrong. The gravity. Now that was good in the space. I think probably the slowest parts are when they're in the spaceship with the other people. The two astronauts in the spaceship, and then they're moving really slow. It really grinded the pace a bit.
Well, no, that one. But
one of them is really kind of pointless. The other one is actually kind of needed. That was the other one. But yeah, there's a really weird cut actually when they're tumbling. Remember when they're spinning in space?
Yeah.
And then they kind of stop it, but not really, and it's a weird cut there. There's a really weird fade, and they do another weird cut somewhere else in it. The cuts are a bit weird here and there, but not too bad really.
No,
so then you know it's a slow build up because you see first it's a spaceship, then a little spaceship comes. You know, first is the planet, then another spaceship.
Yeah, and then the spaceship. Actually, I'd say the model work in this is very.
Oh
good.
yeah, I love that spaceship landing. That's so cool. That's so cool. I would say one thing which I don't get is why does Mondas look exactly the same as...
Well, because they're sister planets.
Yeah, but just because they're sisters doesn't mean you have to look like the same except upside down. I wanted reason behind it, but you know, I'm not. It's not a massive plot problem, you know. But yeah, so it's kind of crazy that you think, oh, okay, so the first Cybermen story was only 4 episodes long. So you're thinking, what did they do which are so good in this story which caused them to come back? Because, you know, they had a quick turnaround. You know, it was about 3, I don't know how many weeks afterwards, but not a long.
It was a while. Well, because you had Power, you had the Highlanders.
Then the Underwater Menace, I think. Pretty sure.
Well, no, but they appeared in the moon base. That was.
And then the moon base.
I thought it was something in between.
No, it's Macroterra afterwards. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'll just check. When it loads. But yeah, no. Yeah. So it has a lot to live up to. So you're waiting for it, and then in the distance, through the snow falling, you see these figures trudging. What a shot! That is one thing that I'll never forget.
That is a very cool shot. The image that sticks more in my mind is like the hand on the body that
best
killed.
Cliffhanger. That wins best cliffhanger.
It just goes up and it's like.
And you just see that face. Oh, so good, so good. Just so first trudging through the snow. Love that. They need to do something like that again. You know, something where you can't see them but you can. Like so, you're kind of looking, and then they come around.
Well, they're humanoid.
And then he turns around, and then you know shows the strength, blah blah blah, and then they disguise themselves. Like that's what I liked when they did smart stuff like that. Kind of like in Nightmare in Silver, where it removed its head. I thought that was a smart part where then she buzzed it and then it was behind. Like smart tactical thinking. They're closer to human here. They're the closest to human they ever are. This is the closest they ever are.
Well,
human.
Mine is the shape itself because they got this huge bulgy thing.
Yeah, well, that's that. I think of that like as a kind of a support system,
life
support. Yeah, that's what I think of that as. And
plus, probably multiple purposes because I also imagine it. Because they said they don't have any diseases or.
They flick
everything.
At one point, they flick a switch and then Cutler's mind. Remember, he goes up to Cutler and goes. Zzz, and then he knocks him out, and that's because he flicked a switch.
But actually, it's kind of cool because that ability where they just kill people by grabbing them wasn't really so much in the classic series a lot, but they brought it back in the revive because they grab people in the new series.
Yeah. So when 10th planet.
Yeah.
So 14 weeks later, and they were back. That's a massive turnaround.
That is, and they completely redesigned them by then.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I find that weird how come in the moon base they changed the design. I mean, I prefer the later design.
Oh yeah, no,
but
definitely.
It's kind of weird.
I really do like this design though. That's why I kind of want to see it again in the new era. Just one story, wouldn't it be cool if they ended up on Mondas? Kind of like Spare Parts, the audio adventure with the 5th Doctor, where they kind of fill in a bit more on the Mondas side. So I would have liked to have actually visited Mondas in the story.
Actually, an actual kind of origin story of this universe, I mean, would be interesting because we got one in the new series, but I always kind of pictured if we ever saw Mondaz's version of the event,
a genesis of the Cybermen.
Yeah,
a genesis of the Cybermen would be excellent.
And I'd imagine
2-part, 3-part.
I wonder if it kind of parallel how they did it in the new series. So because
John Lumick, yeah.
I wonder if there is a parallel John Lumick.
That would be interesting. They should definitely do something along those lines because I think they don't realise actually how much we do love the Cybermen. Part of me likes the Cybermen more than the Daleks.
I know I do.
But then I love classic Daleks and I love classic Cybermen, but the new ones, like, then I loved Series 1 and 2 Cybermen and Daleks, but they've kind of got a bit meh, kind of later
There's
on.
some bright parts.
They have some good parts, but Cybermen need a revamp. I mean, Death in Dark Water, that annoyed me, because they were just secondary characters to Missy.
Were.
I was fine with the Master and all that, but it was like, yeah, wasted potential. Two-part, I was saying, two-part Cyberman finale, brilliant. You know, because we didn't know who Missy was at that point, so I was like, oh, she's just a supporting character.
Yeah.
And the Cybermen in the main, but no.
Yeah.
But anyway, 10th planet. So yes, that brilliant last shot with the human hand
Yeah,
goes up, trail up to the face, and
Yeah.
it cut.
And I have to say, like, in this era, like, this and the tomb design, the eyes with the
Just
ring
scary.
with the ring around them is like completely threatening. I was at a at the sci-fi fair about a year or two back, and this is where I met Colin Baker. But they had a collection at the side. They had these collection of costumes, and actually, this is with the tomb design actually. But those eyes, I actually stood there and stared at it for a little while. And just realised I just couldn't take my eyes off it, and
They're
like,
just so emotionless, aren't
yeah, and then
I mean, like, part of it, I think it's kind of scary. Like, kind of, it's a bit Ku Klux Klan-like, you know, the kind of the white
face,
pull,
yeah.
the white pull, and only the eyes cut in the mouth. You know, isn't that?
Yeah,
it's
I
just
kind
without
of
the
see.
kind of like pointy bit. You know, if you
Yeah.
put a hat on that, you could imagine a Ku Klux Klan kind of thing. It's just like that is what is scary. That kind of can't see the facial features, but you know that these eyes are staring at you. I mean, this is the first time I watched it on my big TV, and I could see the human eyes a lot of the time, which kind of I think ruined it a bit. And that's why actually in the animation they never like showed the human eyes. They actually never ever like showed them.
Yeah.
But actually in the thing you could see them a lot. And I preferred it a lot when it was you couldn't see them at all. But I mean the actors had to see. You know, that's only because I was like looking directly for them. So then episode 2. This is where now this was really smartly done. Now they really smartly did it. So Cybermen enter, and then slowly, not forced, they show their different abilities. So first they show, you know, they're big, kind of compared to other people. They take out some people. First they show their strength, like just general strength.
Yeah.
Then they show that they can do like kind of knock people out. And then what else do they show their
pick up the
power.
pig and-
Yeah, they show their power, and then he also bends the gun.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
this slow, like, kind of... They it's like they're just showing off how powerful they are compared to us.
Yeah.
And they say one thing, which I love. I love the voice. I generally love that weird singing voice.
It is.
Because it
Like,
just...
most of
Ooh.
it is fine. Actually, it doesn't even really sing. Sing.
Yeah, I know, yeah,
So much like it doesn't really sound like a song exactly until like the end. Like
Yeah.
I think in part 4 they have like moments where it. Like, what was it? It's like when they're being kind of frantic, and there's like
yeah.
a couple of them singing.
Wow.
Okay, over the top.
Yeah.
They're kind of actually like as they're talking, do legitimately sound like that in part 4. The rest of it, at the time, is just kind of that kind of effect, you know, kind of very up and down voice.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy. It's a little bit silly, I will say. It's a little
Oh, yeah,
bit
tiny
silly.
bit. And that's why it got more kind of swampy and kind of
You
sludgy.
really got,
Yeah.
like us.
Yeah, like much more like kind of just a little vibration in like the
Yeah.
tones, and that's it.
A lot lower.
But I loved what they said. No lines of theirs were wasted. It was all really, really well done. And one was like those 2 people up in the spaceship, they're going to die, Polly said. And they said, people are dying all over the world, and you don't care about them. Like,
Yeah,
it's so
is-
true. It
yeah,
makes
it
so
is.
much sense. You can see the computer logic in their minds of no
Yeah.
emotion. It's true. Why do you care about them and not everybody else dying?
Yeah.
And I was like, it was just so smart for the time that this was written at, when even robotics weren't really, you know, what they are as today. It's great stuff.
It
Absolutely.
is.
What they say is so fantastic. Oh yeah, and then so they kind of they take over the base because they've been caught by surprise. You know, they're not going to come.
Actually, one thing I'll say, which I noticed over a couple of episodes, but you know the thing they later kind of adopt in like the moon base and the Tomb of the Cybermen?
Yeah.
That is kind of here as well, because they have there's moments where it does a dun,
Oh yeah, yes, the music.
And at one point, you can hear the timpanis as well.
Dum, dum. Yeah.
It doesn't go into the second part of the song, but it is here. It is in this story.
The music in this story is way more noticeable than I think any of the rest we've reviewed in this first batch.
I know, we mentioned it in Traken.
Okay, no, Traken, but I think this, out of all of them, has had the best so far. I think even better than Unicorn and the Wasp. This has had the most effective music in this entire first batch that we've reviewed. And every time the music happened, it happened for a reason and it added to it. It wasn't just there, it really added to it, especially that I love that Cyberman theme. It's better than any Dalek music of the classic era. It's that Cyberman theme.
Well, they didn't even really have music.
They didn't. This was the first theme, really.
The Dalek theme, as it were, was more of like
notes, here and there, kind of like a Jaws kind of thing. But this is the first kind of villain theme, and I love that. It is so good.
It is.
I love it. Yes, fantastic.
I just heard it for the first time in this one. The fact that the theme from the other things is kind of here.
Others, well, it would make sense because only 14 weeks later they're not going to make new music, so they're going to
managed to figure the second half of the song by new.
Maybe they'd recorded it, and then they just actually found a place to add in the second part of the song.
Yeah, that's true.
But so they overtake the bass. It's all panicky. I mean, one thing which you do notice is William Hartnell is actually in it too much. He does collapse, he does disappear, but even in episodes 1 and 2, he's still not in it that much. This was actually on purpose, though. They had purposely made the script not have the First Doctor in it that much, just in case he was ill, which then did happen. So then episodes... At the end, I think either at the start of episode 3 or is at the end of episode 2, he collapses. No, it's episode 3.
Episode 3.
He collapses. Is in bed for the rest of it, and then he appears for episode 4. That's because he was ill. But in episode 2, they're in the room, because the finale, okay. I can work out where I am in the story due to cliffhangers. So, they put Ben in the film projector room, and he manages to trick one in. He takes his gun, and he asks him to go back. He's like, stay back, and he keeps coming, and he kills him. But then he feels remorse. He's like, you didn't give me any other choice. Damn, they were adding character to him. He didn't want to kill.
Well, this is
what a good moral. Even if it was a horrible creature, he didn't want to kill it. I was like mind blown. I was like, damn, this story is showing such good morals. Just because it's a monster and it used to be human, he doesn't want to kill it.
Human,
and then when
he was there, when they introduced himself.
And they cut it on his remorseful face. It's not like him going, okay, I'll move on. They cut on that, on his distressed face that he just killed this creature, this human really, because they still got human hands. And then he comes back into the room. Now he could shoot all those other Cybermen, okay, but he doesn't. He passes it to Cutler. He passes it to Cutler and allows him to do all the killing. And then later on he does say enough a line about it that he's not happy that it's happening. He says something like, I had to kill him, I don't want... Something along those lines. But it was so good. And I really like Ben and Polly. I mean, ever since we met Annika Willis at Bedford, I've just found way more respect for the characters as well. I am so upset that more of their stories aren't in existence. Because Ben and Polly... Damn, they are good. They are great. I mean, Polly was more on the back foot on this one. This was more Ben's limelight, kind of.
No, she had a moment.
She did have that really good moment with the scientist when she coaxes him over to help Ben and her.
The fact that she was helping with the going behind the back and all that.
And so that, I mean, she had some good bits, but I think Annika she shone more in the War Machines. And Underwater Menace she does quite a lot in. Moonbase I need to rewatch really. I haven't watched that in a while. But thank God for Power. Yes. More Annika and more Michael Craze.
One line from the Cybermen. Sorry.
One
line from the Cybermen I found kind of actually funny actually, but it's effective. It was I think I don't remember where this exactly is. I think that was... they put on the emergency switch to alert the people on Earth.
Oh yes.
And he's like, "That was most unfortunate. You should not have done that."
Yes, yes. But you see, that is funny and it's
is.
effective. But it's like they were talking to a small child, like they're
was.
above us. You see, it's kind of like telling us off, like you shouldn't have done that. We are your masters. It's so like, it works so weirdly. It's such like it's simple dialogue. They don't use weird and magical words, but what they do say is effective and powerful. It's mad. It's crazy how in 4 episodes they made it like amazing. Now. Massive shame, biggest shame. Actually, no. I'll go on that later. So, episode 3, we got all the spaceships coming. I mean, that's like kind of dramatic already.
One thing I noticed about that was that the Cybermen comes in the ship and they come to the base.
Yeah.
And then the Cybermen both times, the times they appear, all get killed. But then they use the same model shot. Where does the other spaceship go?
Yes, I know, yes, they use the same model shot.
But where does the other spaceship go?
I know, the other one just disappears. The rest of them go around the world, and that's why it's at the news thing at that place and he takes them out. But the first spaceship which came just disappears.
Yeah, just
disintegrates. No, it's sunk into the snow.
Yeah, just sunk. It was taken by some polar bear.
Yes.
Wrong pole. Sorry, taken by some penguins.
Yes, penguins. Pingu. He took it. And he just flies
Pingu's
off.
Adventure in Space.
Yes, there we go. If there's ever a space one, it's the Cybermen. There we go. So then it's all the spaceships coming. Oh, the first 2 astronauts die, don't they? And then they send up his son.
Well, no, his son was sent. No, they were all sent at the same time because the son asked.
Oh yes, to go up, and then the other 2 die. Yes. And then it's volunteers, because that's really good on the phone call. And it was actually quite good quality.
Cutler's face, as soon as he hears his son's there, it turns from a...
Kind of like a kind of not really caring to oh my god.
Completely, yeah.
And then you totally understand why he's like all mad and crazy. And then there's the build-up brilliant scene where he crawls through the vent. There's such tension there where he's like in the vent, he's trying to do the switch, and then he comes in, he notices, he throws him over the bars, like just chucks him over, and he wakes up and he's like, oh, I can't remember. Like, it's like, Ben, did you manage it? It's like, I can't remember. And, like the countdown's going, and the rocket fire's going, and like, oh my god, and then because the Cybermen, the main episode for Cybermen is episode 2. Episode 2 is where they really shine. If you want to watch. If you just want to see the Cybermen in action, watch episode 2 of the 10th Planet. That's, if that's your goal. But I would watch the entire story. Don't just do that. But if you just want to see the Cybermen in action after we've been talking about it, watch episode 2, because that is where they are best. Episode 4, they're alright, but with the animation, it's a bit harder to see.
Well, no, actually, I'd say with the animation...
Oh, it's fantastic, though.
Well, not only is the animation fantastic, but in terms of the Cybermen, the use of shots which they use with them, kind of a wide range, is actually really quite effective. So you get somewhere it's half their face, and it's
they do more inventive. So we're on episode 4 now. So I'd say the biggest shame.
Okay. I had one thing. Sorry.
Yeah. Go.
I had one thing about episode 2.
Alright. Okay.
Sorry. Which was a bit less. It was the cliffhanger.
Yes,
it wasn't very effective. It was just it's just
spaceships.
Oh no, there's a dots.
The dots coming. I think it was supposed to be the what it meant, but no. Episode 1 wins for cliffhangers. End of. Unless you count episode 4 cliffhanger, because that would have smashed everybody. Yeah. But the fair one. I mean, you can't count the regeneration as a cliff. I never count part 4 as a cliffhanger really. Though in black and white, it kind of was because it was a continuous story really. But really, episode 1 kind of wins. But if we were watching it back in 1966, then episode 4 wins. But looking back at it now,
the amount of people who are upset about the departure of Hartnell.
So many people were upset, but people were in shock after it. Some people just sat there for half an hour apparently, just trying to take in what just happened, because everybody thought that next week it would just be like James Bond, how they did it with James Bond, and another actor just comes in and pretends to be the one. Nope. Full-on alien change,
yeah.
Such a great idea. But anyway, so episode 4. The biggest shame about the 10th Planet is episode 4 is missing. That is the most distressing thing, because it's William Hartnell's final episode. Oh my god, thank God for Blue Peter.
Yeah, we have the
Thank God for Blue Peter. Yeah. Oh my god. If we didn't have Blue Peter, I would have been so gutted that we never saw the regeneration.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's kind of hard to, because like they very much use different camera angles in this than that would have been in the actual episode, because you can tell like some really kind of phantasmical angles like going on, really cool. I'm like, don't think that was in it, but I like it makes it entertaining.
One moment in particular which I noticed with that was like Ben like drops a screwdriver back into the tool case and like. Yeah. It just wouldn't happen like that.
And there's a really weird angled shot at one point when they're in the bomb room with all the radiation. Also, those radiation ships are shit. Those radiation suits are shit. They would not stop radiation. They have massive visors, like hit them right in the voice box. That would.
Yeah. But you would have thought like the Cybermen being as like powerful as they were would have been able to manage it a little bit better.
I think it's just too much radiation, and that's the problem.
Or maybe kind of like the planets where it kind of overloads.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. I think it's not just really. I think it's too much. It's like they have enough of them already that too much messes with their systems. Yeah. I know the wavelengths of radioactive. You know, it might mess with their other wave signals going on. You don't know how they're made, but So yes, so it's obviously animated episode 4, so it's quite hard to judge it the same way, but thank God it's been made. Thank you Planet 55 Studios for just animating it, because it means we have it on DVD, we have it in our collection, it's watchable, it's better than Telly Snaps, it's so much, because I've got the VHS of the 10th Planet up there, and that has the Telly Snaps original. I think this one does as well, but I like just having the VHS as well. And it's just not as good. It's not as good. You don't get that motion. You don't get the and the emotion in the faces, and it was so much better. I mean, they didn't make it really clear in this that Cutler died. I was like,
I kind of.
They did but it was more how they said it.
That was. I'm not. I kind of conflicted on that moment because I kind of think that it wasn't justified killing him. Like, because as we said earlier, it was understandable his motivations, like he wanted to save his son. But then, like, when he's killed by the Cybermen, the Doctor's like, "Oh, well done, thank you," and I mean, he has been hostile the entire episode, but I mean,
It made sense though that they did it.
It did.
I think the Doctor wasn't like thank you. He was just trying to. He didn't mean thank you. I think he was just trying to play it.
Trying to play and trying to help. I kind of see that.
I think it was supposed to be kind of ironic that he didn't want his son to die so much that he ended up dying because of his son, and his son actually lived. It was kind of an irony kind of thing. But I still kind of felt bad for him because it's his son, and
like I said, the person playing him did a really good job. Did a really good job of him. Like you could tell he was hardened, yet of course he had this soft spot for his son, which overshadowed everything else. Like he was one thing. In fact, I'd say like a lot of the. I mean, you don't see so many people in this story, like so many like recognised people, but also the scientists very well acted as well. I really enjoyed the scientist character. Kind of, you could see kind of past.
He was stressed. You could see they didn't add just a one dimension to him. He had many different emotions through it. And it's amazing that this is only 4 episodes. Like, the amount of detail we're talking about this now. Doesn't sound like a 6 episode, like, really long.
And this isn't all, not all of it is necessarily based on the based on the South Pole itself, because there's also, like,
it makes it such a entire worldwide kind of covered story.
This other base.
There's a news story, and then there's a conference room where it has a African kind of governor there. Someone who's representing some country.
I mean, you said the person who's representing the country the most, But the moment where he's talking to him, and the Cyberman just he zooms out, there's a Cyberman there. Like
that's scary because it's like then you're thinking, oh no, it could be in my home. That's what it was supposed to do. That they're all over the world, and